Welcome everybody, the ones that have joined. I'm sure some others will, but my name is Phil Kramer. I'm Director of Sales for Shocko. Just briefly, Shocko is a mobile app development shop that is, for the last 12, 13 years, helped brands improve their digital experience and literally amplify the impact of that digital transformation. The pandemic showed us that retail can't be contained to brick and mortar, although we know stores are not going away, but the US consumers are used to shopping in a little bit different way from various devices and locations. We do, as Shocko, create a lot of mobile apps in the retail environment where we really focus on delighting customers in a way that will help drive significant value for our partners. And with that, I would like to introduce my friend and partner, Chad Solomonson, who's Chief Customer Officer for RDA.
Thank you, Phil. Excited to do this joint webinar together. I know our companies share a lot of thoughts on how the customers can take full advantage of technology, and for many years we've been helping our customers innovate. So to be able to share this conversation is great for us, and excited to take this journey today. A little bit about RDA. We are a 35-year-old consultancy that has been on a mission to help our customers continue to compete, leveraging technology like AI and other big waves of innovation that's happened over 3 decades. We spend a lot of time navigating both kind of the roadmap for innovation, as well as designing and implementing solutions that make sense for our customers based on what they have and the resources that they're trying to drive forward with in the midst of a lot of other disruption maybe in their markets. So I'm excited to have this conversation today with you. I think we'll be able to kind of unlock a few of the things that have been going on in this current wave of AI. It's not the first wave that we've seen, but it's certainly one that's getting a lot of attention. So excited to jump in with you here. So I know when we talked about a good agenda to walk through, we thought we'd give a little bit of state of what we're hearing from our customers directly, which is always kind of healthy insights, and then what's kind of being talked about directly from grocers and other markets. Talk a bit about the use cases that are becoming more real, that are really being tied to actual business cases that can have a return on investment. And then lastly, we'll talk a bit about how to take these steps forward, how to catch this current wave and where it makes sense. Certainly, if you have a question, please feel free to use the toolbar. We'll leave some time at the end for questions if you have, and we'll read through them there, and we'll address them that way. So figured I'd jump in, Phil, and feel free to kind of add to these. But this is what I know we're hearing. Been on a number of calls over the last 3 months or so with different types of customers and some grocers as well on trying to kind of unlock what's the hype and what's real. And I'd say the last wave that we went through was about 4 years ago with AI, and we were having very similar conversations with customers trying to unlock the value of what AI can bring. I do think that most of the time we're thinking, okay, we don't have the resources for this, or we don't have the capability yet, but they're also seeing that their platinum partners are building capabilities, and so they wanted to kind of see what can take place with where that innovation was happening with the investments they may already have. So I think a lot of our time right now is uncovering what's the hype. You know, it's great that we can do this with an image, or it's great that we can do a rap song to maybe a recipe for our customers. But really, where's the value, and how do we use it to our advantage? You know, how do we take it in for our day-to-day operations and driving and unlocking more efficiencies? I'd say a big part of the conversation also is around an AI roadmap. A lot of our customers have taken the time to build a digital roadmap. Some of them have a view of data and how that aligns to their needs. But how do we enhance our roadmap today with what AI can truly bring quickly? And that really does lead to prioritizing. So most of our customers are understanding there's a lot of use cases. There's a lot of different ways to take advantage here, but how do I prioritize as it means something for me as a certain type of business that has unique needs? And how do I do that with the least amount of risk associated with our business? I'm assuming you're seeing some of the same things or hearing some of the same things, Phil.
Yeah, without a doubt. And frankly, for the audience, we purposely took a focus as to what the relevant elements of AI, or should I say meaningful elements that are available today versus all, as Chad mentioned, the hype. There's a tremendous amount of hype, and Chat GPT and OpenAI really got the world going. And honestly, 2 years ago, the big thing was low code, no code development. So this too will normalize, but I think this this report here from Doppio is excellent, Chad.
Yeah, I pulled it up because you mentioned Chat GPT really driving and accelerating the conversation. And if you look here, not just from the anecdotal things we're hearing in our day-to-day meetings with customers, but this is feedback from hundreds of grocers specifically, that are looking to take steps forward. And if you can see here, here's some senior teams now are seeing that Chat GPT has elevated this in another way, and is really kind of igniting a lot of ideation. And so 82% of grocers are saying that there'll be some need to adopt AI in some fashion within their organization. A lot of these grocers, basically are figuring out how to find budget right now to take advantage of these and start to test and explore what these use cases could actually look like for them. And I would say, a majority of our platforms we work with, a lot of the technology platforms, they're probably already saying that they have AI built in, or it's coming, or there's an API that's really efficient. And so it raises the questions of, okay, how do we take advantage of this, and how fast can we deploy it? And do we even have the resources right now to reprioritize our needs for these use cases? But the use cases are real, and these are the ones that have come up a few times. And I know, Phil, you've got some insights here too on some of the things Shaco's doing with specifically around the experience that customers can have inside a grocery store.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. I was just going to chime in, and I certainly don't want to outpace what your next focal point was, but in that more left column of the top use cases on AI, one of the things, other than the supply chain or proper forecasting and wastage of perishables, those to me are the initial table stake items. But I'd like to point out what can be really powerful for a grocery chain and delivering content to their consumers is dynamic pricing, and having things go to their device as they enter the store, as they're leaving the store. Maybe they forgot an item on their shopping list, or maybe there's a promotion based on the predictive analytics that AI can deliver for those use cases. I think initial deployments of dynamic pricing will be just that. It'll be some sort of offer that comes in, but the real powerful stuff will probably be after those data models are completed.
Absolutely. The theme that comes up in the conversations, and I almost kind of see it between the two tables here with both AI in general, but also with large language models specifically. So the conversation just seems to go from what can we do to be on the defensive? So it's basically margin performance, ensuring that we're keeping up with what our competition is doing. And then what can we do on the offensive to really drive innovation in our own business, to separate out and even bring more customer delight to the table. So I think that's where I see these two playing in as everyone's trying to drive the best customer experience and continue to drive loyalty. to their brands and to the experience that they provide. I would say that even on the site search and product recommendation, that is a huge topic. We just came back from B2B online in Chicago a few weeks ago, and I'd say search was probably the heaviest topic, specifically AI search. And it just seems like that was the easiest use case for customers to build in a lot of these experiences. And I know having those experiences both on the phone that you guys are experts in, but also being able to kick off an engagement, like an Ask, Instacart, which they just came out with, and that type of search that maybe triggers, a better experience of finding what you need in the store itself. So to me, it's a bit of how can we make sure that we're doing the things in the back office and ensuring that, we're staying very aligned with what the market's demanding from our operational standpoint. And then how do we stay ahead of it, bringing offers and better experiences to our users on the offensive side of the table. So it's that constant grappling of where to invest in. I think it's interesting. I know you're going to show some things here in a second, or talk to Phil on the overall experience and some of the innovative things that Shako is doing. But I thought the last call out here that was really intriguing was the 59% of grocers are going to start making some level of investment to test. And that requires thinking through where am I going to spend my time and energy of my resources to put in to start testing these solutions. So it's this wave is exciting. This wave feels a lot more real than it did 4 years ago. And certainly looking at it from both lenses, there's a lot more maturity, not only in how our customers think about AI, but also the partners and in the technology investments that they have now are starting to play out this a little bit more aggressively. So Phil, I wanted to hand it over to you to talk a little bit about that experience, especially where you've been able to drive with a couple of customers.
Thank you. Yeah, awesome. So the first one is HSTV. So Hy-Vee's a good partner of ours / client. They were really forward thinking and innovative when they came up with the notion of taking streamed content to the shopper's device. And the content creation is everything from chefs with interesting recipes that are easy to prepare, and for the working family, the soccer mom, they can go on and find whatever protein dish they would like to cook for their family that has some ease. There's also nutritionist and dietitian content on this, so it can help steer them to more healthy type recipes and meals that are easy to prepare for those families. And frankly, there's a bartending series as well. So they don't only cover the food, the nutritional part, but the drink side of it as well. And this is something where they were really proactive in taking the relevant content to their consumers and for their consumers that consume this type of content. It was a home run. That is something I'd like to overlay with the next slide. So the consumer here, or the customer in that HSTV slide, has to go download an app or has to go in and access the content. These are just screenshots because I wanted to save time, but we developed a front-end POC for a grocery show about 6 months ago. And basically the way it works is, regardless where you shop, if it's integrated with your grocer's app, you have a shopping list, your weekly shopping list. And basically when you get to the store, you go from shopping list into store, the solution will take you product by product based on your proximity to that particular product. So in this case, he's buying his True Earth strips. It gives him a trail as to where to go to find it. And in the far right, it shows you not only the product information and whether it's something like a laundry detergent or food, you can assess the nutritional value, calories, things like that. And this really plays well in the sense where somebody's in a hurry. They may be getting something that they don't typically buy. They don't know where it is in the store. Well, this takes you straight there. And, you know, Chad, for us a little bit older guys, when our kids are in college and we go visit them and we go into a supermarket we've never been in before, this will take you directly to it without, you know, shopping, looking up at the ceiling, trying to find the sign. So this was incredibly well received. This is leveraging augmented reality overlaid. And when we start wrapping AI into this, just think about the pop-ups along your journey to your find your shopping list and tying in some of those other customer features with this. There's some really powerful stuff coming down the pipe for grocery. And that's why I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you're paving the way for lots of potential use cases for coupons and recipes. And I just saw the Google Maps kind of release where they're actually making a picture of the street now. And as you walk, and then it starts prompting you with ads or things that might draw you into a store. You guys are right in line with where Google is with this thinking and inside the grocery store.
Sure.
So I know that I've seen the app in the demo, so I don't know if it's where this actually is, but there's a great link that you can access to actually see the demo. But it's very similar to the Google Maps experience I just looked at this morning. And as you go through the actual store, and you know, there's no reason why AI, if you're going through, can't identify an empty spot on the shelf that's going to trigger someone inside the store to fill it. So there's a lot of upside here. That's really
exactly.
Really
and thank you for highlighting the link. I was about to mention that. So
yeah, I can't tell if it's where it's at, but I know it's one of these areas here.
all right. If you can copy or just notate the shocko.com/work grocery store app, you'll have a link to a video that actually demonstrates the entire process. Would love for you to check it out.
It's really exciting stuff.
Mhm.
Well, you know, there are all of these exciting things that are happening, and certainly from the last wave and now looking at this wave, you know, everything is moving super fast. You know, we're getting into, you know, the summer season, and it's just everything's blurry as far as AI right now. So there's a lot of unknowns. There's still a lot of challenges to getting the business case perfect to be able to prioritize where to even spend the time. So, you know, some of the key things that we're seeing is just help me get educated, help me understand more that defensive, offensive mindset for my company. Help me understand, is this really a clean API that's going to be put in place, you know, in a matter of weeks or days? Or is this truly something that is a much larger endeavor and that's going to require a lot more resources to complete it? So a lot of unknowns there. Certainly, when you start looking at AI, you start looking at the size of data or how I'm going to actually tap into the data. And certainly 4 years ago, there wasn't as much cloud infrastructure, I think, that could support that type of experience than there is right now. So data management's a big play in starting to think through, you know, how do we work with lots of information and give real-time pricing, maybe as a seasonal offer or some sort of weather-related component that allows you to prepare for maybe more people coming into the store. Certainly, you know, AI expertise is hard to find, and so being able to understand the types of resources you need. I will say that in Chicago at the B2B conference, there was a lot of conversation around AI prompters and trying to build that capability in-house with certain types of people on the team. I do feel like that over time is going to be a moving target. And so being able to figure out what type of resourcing I need in-house to manage this as well as externally. And then certainly a lot of the legal and ethical concerns as you're diving into certain types of data, you have to keep an eye on those. So When you get the lawyers involved and some of your legal teams, it gets challenging to figure out what you can possibly deploy. So these will continue to be the barriers. Like any kind of innovation, you have to think through those as you go forward. I thought this was interesting to share, and where I see a lot of our conversations at today, and where our customers are wanting to kind of think through how to build a plan. Because a lot of it's just education right now. So how do I take the steps forward into building, this into our overall roadmap? And currently right now, as Gardner kind of lays out, so I took a maturity model that is proven, and a lot of companies use this kind of thinking. But it's also more advanced now. We're now in a place where we're prioritizing. The use cases are becoming more prevalent to us. We're seeing them launched across different types of patterns and customers and competitors that are putting out a lot of innovation. So now it's how do we take advantage of this? How do we prove it? How do we make sure that this is going to deliver on what we are trying to deliver back to the business? And then ultimately, how do we start to scale and bring this across to our entire enterprise and start to think in new ways of how we can deliver innovation back in through this type of incredible technology? So this is a logical way to think. I will say a majority of our conversation is still very much in plan, and we're just getting into some early conversations on the experiment side. So the last thing I want to say until we open up questions is, how do I get something even started? And one of the things that we've done is created a workshop. Get some time together, take a deep breath. Let's actually focus on this for a period of time. And let's get these use cases outlined in a way that makes sense to us, makes sense to the technologies that we have invested in already, the types of people skills that we have, and really start to put those into a document that allows the stakeholders in the company to realize these are some things we could take advantage of with an understanding of the opportunity, upside, and the risk associated with those use cases, and then ultimately start to frame that into a larger plan. And so, if a workshop like this makes sense to you, we'd love to have a conversation about that and kind of go into the details of how this could be delivered to your organization. Phil, any final thoughts on that?
No, I think that's spot on. I do believe that consultancy is key, and similar to RDA, Shako is also a full service agency. We're just not a mobile app organization. We do the full blown, discovery, concept ideation, all the way through design, development, deployment. But I would say to any of our attendees, feel free to reach out to Chad or myself if there is an interest in maybe even considering a workshop. It can be virtual, so we'll make it easy, no travel required. Or we can come to you too. It's really whatever's preferred. I think with that, Chad, very good job on covering the information. Let's open it up for some questions and see what we've got in the Q&A section here.
No, Ashley's been monitoring. Go back here. I'm not sure if we have any questions in there. So if not, I think we could wrap unless somebody has audio.
I do have one thing I would like to touch on, and when you're dealing with new technology, as people try to filter through the noise of the hype and find something meaningful, the notion of the Chat GPT or the large language models and being able to offer better customer service. There are actual partners that we're potential partners we're working with that have solutions, and they're seeing a 20 to 25% reduction in call center cost. And if you think about the majority of a lot of those phone ins or text ins, they don't necessarily require a whole lot of thought. They may be simple questions. And with these large language models, you can actually have a discussion almost like it's with a person. So you're not chatting off the phone or off your laptop. And if you can get that kind of value or make your call center 20-25% more efficient, what is the value of that over the next 3, 5, 10 years?
Yeah. I would add too, just as maybe a final thought, the first wave of this that I was a part of, where AI was in a lot of conversations, just a lot of lack of maturity and kind of where it could actually fit. The exercise of going through and thinking about where this could play out led to a lot of efficiencies. Some maybe in robotic process automation and some internal processes, some with some very early stage chatbot type capabilities. But there was value there, both in the experience that customers had and certainly on the efficiencies made in the organization. So I think that just the process of looking at this and taking the steps really can bring significant value. And I do feel like this wave has a lot more power to it and a lot more speed. A lot of our projects that we're doing these days, the APIs are very clean and they are moving data with a lot more efficiency, and the insights that are being delivered are extremely powerful. So I do feel like the exercise of going through and understanding is really important. And so the process of determining how internally you can adjust your resourcing right now to take advantage of it is very important. And I think a lot of companies are going to see some quick wins here.
Agreed. And well said, Chad. And with that, since we don't have any further questions or hands raised or anything, we can end it here. But I do want to encourage everybody, if there's an interest in even a phone conversation, to understand a little bit more about the value AI can bring to you, please let us know. Chad, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. It's always a pleasure.
Likewise. Thanks, everybody.